Okay. Oh, hi again. Hello again. My name is Emma. Welcome to Fake Night Friday. It's that time of the week already. And we're already in October, which the months are just like, they're just flying by. Anyway, I hope everybody had a really good week, and I'm just glad to be on here again with you guys and just try and share the word with you guys as much as I can every week. I'm trying to get myself back into the flow of the word, so if you haven't been in the word lately, or you feel like you've been lagging or lacking the time that you need to spend in the word, to read the word, do the word, we're on the same boat. We're all there. I don't want to pretend like I get up every morning and I read at 4 o'clock in the morning and I pray and I all do that doesn't happen. I don't get up that early. Now, you're a warrior, you do that, hey, more kudos to you, but I can't. I can't do that. And right now, I really am thinking about the day of the Sabbath, and that, I don't know why that's been like really hitting my heart. Like, we hear about the 10 Commandments, and one of them is to keep the Sabbath holy. And I'm like, okay, so if we fulfill the law, when we accept Christ in our hearts, that means, and we love thy neighbor like we should, then the word says that the law is fulfilled. So, question I have then the Sabbath day, that it whichever, it's supposed to be a Saturday, not a Sunday. But if the law is fulfilled, once we accept Christ as Savior and we love thy neighbor, then the Sabbath, then all the commandments, including the Sabbath, is fulfilled. So does that mean it could be a Monday, it could be a Tuesday, it could be a Sunday, it could be a Friday, it could be any day as far as I'm concerned. But some people like to see the Sabbath as a Saturday. I really don't think it has to be a Saturday. You can make it any day you want. I think you could pick any day you want, as long as you acknowledge the Lord and make that day holy for Him, that day. Now, you don't have to go and travel a distance and hang out with loved ones and get all together and have a big dinner and and all be in the word together and all praise God together. You don't have, you can that would be awesome. All of you acknowledging the Lord on the Sabbath, as long as you all acknowledge the Lord on the Sabbath day, which is on a Saturday, and you all do a whole cook dinner and everybody brings something like potluck and all that, and you just guys worship and remember who the Lord is and keep that day holy. That means you don't go to work, you don't do anything. All you do is you would have to prepare everything the day before, so that you won't have to do any work for that Sabbath day. Like, you would get all the clothes out, or you would make sure like the dinner's already prepped and all you have to do is just throw it in the oven or just microwave it, or you don't have to go around cleaning this, cleaning that. It's a day of remembrance to the Lord, and the whole thing is that you're supposed to keep it holy. That means you don't do anything that entails work. But like in these days, we really don't really it's not that we don't want to, but when we have family, it's like every day we got to do something. Every day something has to be done. Dishes have to be washed, or clothes have to be mended, or whatever. But for that day, you're not supposed to do any kind of work or go to work or things like that. I think you know what I mean. But you don't have to do that. I mean, let's say you're single and you want to keep the Sabbath holy. Well, then, again, prepare everything the day before. Make a meal. All I would do is just heat it up and, just stay in the Word. Call a few friends, minister to them. Sing praises to the Lord in your own privacy of your own home. I don't know, maybe draw, color, something, like draw pictures of Christ, draw pictures of a holy land, draw, crosses and make them look beautiful. The whole thing is that you want to keep that day holy. You could read, you can write, you can go out and minister to people, you can, like I said, you can, any way that will fulfill your day. And just rest in His Word. Just let God take His course in you and let Him direct you what He wants you to do. Maybe He does want you to see a friend on that day. Maybe He does want you to take a meal to somebody that day. Maybe He does want you to, minister to somebody who needs to hear a word of the Lord that day. But in regards that, again, you're not doing anything out of that holiness, a time that you're trying to share not only with yourself but with others. You can. I would rather call than text anybody a message because it's more personal. If you call, or you can write letters. And that can take up, not that it should have to take up more of your time, but it's something that you want to do, you want to share. You can write letters to loved ones and mail them out. And there's just so many things you can do. And, but again, does it have to be on a Saturday is the question. Like I said, I feel, because I don't work, so it would be easy for me to do it on a Saturday. But some people work and they have Mondays off and they work on Saturdays. That's how their schedule is. Well, then make your Sabbath day a Monday. Or make your Sabbath day a Thursday or a Wednesday, Whatever works for you, okay? So, I don't know how I got there, but you know what I mean, okay? But for me, it'll probably end up being a Saturday. Okay, so let's jump into this because we are on 1 Samuel 14, and we're just going to jump right in, guys. So, Jonathan's daring deed. Okay, so one day, Jonathan said to the young man who carried his weapons, "Let's go across to the Philistines' camp." But Jonathan did not tell his father Saul, who was camping under a pomegranate tree in Migron, not far from Gibeah. He had about 600 men with him. The priest wearing the ephod was Ahijah, the son of Ichabod's brother, Ahitub, who was the son of Phinehas, and grandson of Eli, the priest of the Lord in Shiloh. The men did not know Jonathan had left. And Megamash Pass, with Jonathan had to go through to get over to the Philistines' camp, there were two large jagged rocks, one on each side of the pass. One was called Bozez and the other Seneth. One was north side of the pass facing Michmash, and the other was on the south side facing Geba. Jonathan said to the young man, let's cross over to the camp of those heathen Philistines. Maybe the Lord will help us. If he does, nothing can keep him from giving us victory, no matter how few of us there are. The young man answered, whatever you want to do, I am with you. All right, Jonathan said, we will go across and let the Philistines see us. If they tell us to wait for them to come to us, then we will stay where we are. But if they tell us to go to them, then we will, because that will be the sign that the Lord has given us a victory over them. So they let the Philistines see them, and the Philistines said, look, some Hebrews are coming out of their holes. They have been hiding. They have been hiding in. I remember they ran off because the Philistines won the last time. Then they called out to Jonathan and the young man, come on up here. We have something to tell you. Jonathan said to the young man, follow me. The Lord has given Israel victory over them. Jonathan climbed up out of the pass on his hands and knees, and the young man followed him. Jonathan attacked the Philistines and knocked them down, and the young man killed them. In the first slaughter, Jonathan and the young man killed about 20 men in an area of about half an acre. All the Philistines in the countryside were terrified. The raiders and the soldiers in the camp trembled with fear. The earth shook, and there was great panic. The defeat of the Philistines. Saul's men on the watch at Gibeah in the territory of Benjamin saw the Philistines running in confusion. So Saul said to the men, count the soldiers and find out who was missing. They did so and found that Jonathan and the young man who was carrying his weapons were missing. Bring the ephod here, Saul said, and Ahijah the priest. On that day, Ahijah was carrying in from the people of Israel. As Saul was speaking to the priests, the confusion in the Philistines' camp kept getting worse. So Saul said to them, there is no time to consult the Lord. Then he and his men marched into battle against the Philistines, who were fighting each other in complete confusion. Some Hebrews had been on the Philistine sides and had gone with them to the camp, changed sides again, and joined Saul and Jonathan. Others who had been hiding in the hills of Ephraim heard the Philistines were running away, so they joined in and attacked the Philistines. So some of the Philistine soldiers ended up being on the side of Israel against their own people, fighting all the way beyond Bethaven. The Lord saved Israel that day. Events after the battle. The Israelites were weak with hunger that day because Saul, with a solemn oath, had given the order, a curse be on anyone who eats any food today before I take revenge on my enemies. So nobody had eaten anything all day. They all came into a wooded area and found honey everywhere. The woods were full of honey, but no one ate any of it because they were all afraid of Saul's curse. But Jonathan had not heard his father's threaten the people with a curse. So he reached out with the stick he was carrying, dipped it in the honeycomb, and ate some honey. At once he felt much better, but one of the men told him, we are all weak from hunger, but your father threatened us and said, a curse be on anyone who eats any food today. Jonathan answered, What a terrible thing my father has done to our people. See how much better I feel because I ate some honey? How much better would it have been today if our people had eaten the food they took when they defeated the enemy? Just think how many more Philistines they would have killed. That day, the Israelites defeated the Philistines, fighting all the way from Migamesh to Ajalon. But this time, the Israelites were very weak from hunger, and so they rushed over to what they had captured from the enemy, took sheep and cattle, slaughtered them on the spot, and ate the meat with the blood still in it. Saul was told, "Look, the people are sinning against the Lord by eating meat with the whole blood in it." "You are traitors," Saul cried. "Roll a big stone over here to me." Then he gave another order. "Go across the people and tell them all to bring the cattle and sheep here. They are to slaughter them and eat them here. They must not sin against the Lord by eating meat with blood in it." So that night they all bought their cattle and slaughtered them there. Saul built an altar to the Lord, the first one that he built. Saul said to the men, "Let's go down and attack the Philistines in the night, plunder them until dawn, and kill them all." "Do whatever you think is best," they answered. But the priest said, "Let's consult God first." So Saul asked God, "Shall I attack the Philistines? Will you give us victory?" But God did not answer that day. Then Saul said to the leaders of the people, "Come here and find out what sin was committed today. I promise by the living Lord who gives Israel victory that the guilty one will be put to death, even if he is my own son Jonathan." But no one said anything. Then Saul said to them, "All of you stand over there, and Jonathan and I will stand over here. All of you stand over there, and Jonathan and I will stand over here." "Do whatever you think is best," they answered. Saul said to the Lord God of Israel, "Lord, why have you not answered me today? Lord of God, Israel, answer me by the sacred stones. If the guilt is Jonathan's or mine, answer by the Urim. But if it belongs to our people, Israel, answer indicated Jonathan and Saul, and the people were cleared. Then Saul said, "Decide between my son and Jonathan and me." And Jonathan was indicated. Then Saul asked Jonathan, "What have you done?" Jonathan answered, "I ate a little honey. Here I am. I'm ready to die." Saul said to him, "My God, strike me dead if you are not put to death." But the people said to Saul, "Will Jonathan, who won the great victory for Israel, be put to death?" "No, we promise by the living Lord that he will not lose even a hair from his head. What he did today was done with God's help." So the people saved Jonathan from being put to death. After that, Saul stopped pursuing the Philistines, and they went back to their own territory. Saul's reign and family. After Saul became king of Israel, he fought all the enemies everywhere: the people of Moab, of Ammon, and of Edom, the king of Zobah, and the Philistines. Wherever he fought, he was victorious. He fought heroically and defeated even the people of Amalek. He saved the Israelites from all attacks. Saul's sons were Jonathan, Ezhevi, and Machishua. I'll find out how to pronounce it. His daughter was named Merab, and the younger one Michael. His wife was Ahinoam, and the daughter of Himeas. His army commander was the cousin Abner, and the son of the uncle Ner. Saul's father Kish and Abner's father Ner were sons of Abiel. And as long as he lived, Saul had to fight fiercely against the Philistines. So whoever he found a man who was strong or brave, he would enlist him in his army. Okay, so, well, again, the Philistines, Israel did have victory over the Philistines. And that was pretty weird how even when they were attacking, because the Philistines first won, I don't know, was it the second fight? And then the Israels ran away and hid. But then Saul said, "No, we're going to go back and do this thing right with God's help." And he asked the Lord for help. The Lord did help him by confusing the Philistines, and they ended up killing each other, and some even ended up coming to their side and killed more of their own people. So I was like, wow. But in anything, what happened was that God did give Saul victory, but he also gave victory to his son Jonathan, although he did sin when Saul made that curse, which Jonathan felt like, holy cow, that was like why would he do that? We could have done more. We were all strong, but the people were like, no, you're not going to kill him. He, with the Lord's help, he won another victory over killing even more Philistines. So, let's say what the commentary has to say about this. It's a lot. It was a long chapter. So let's find out. So it's short too. Okay, so 14. All right, so Jonathan, not Saul, was the true leader in Israel. The contrast between the two is striking. Saul was sitting while Jonathan was attacking the enemy of Saul. No, Saul was sitting while Jonathan was attacking the enemy. Saul trusted his growing army, but Jonathan trusted God and did not depend on numbers. Saul watched things happen, but Jonathan made these things happen. That's the difference. So Saul watched as everything, but Jonathan actually did something. Saul tried to impress people with an oath, but Jonathan did what was necessary to fight the battle. Saul weakened the army. Jonathan strengthened the army and challenged it to new victories. Saul was great on words, but weak on deeds. That's what it was. Sometimes I think we can think that we got it made, or we're doing great because, I'm sorry, I'm just trying just because we have the power, we have the word, and just by our watching everything's going to get done. No, sometimes you got to get your hands and you got to get your hands dirty. In other words, the job's not going to get done by you just sitting and watching everything. You got to put in something of yourself as well, and even though Saul was the king or leader of the army, his son was more of a leader than his father. So in that area, it's like, yeah, you might have been ruling, but nothing was getting done, and Jonathan stepped in to get the job done. So that's what all that entailed. So that was really interesting. That really, really was. I didn't check the time. But let me just pop over here real quick. Okay, so that was really, really interesting. Oh, I did want to touch on something very, very, because I'm always getting impressed by a subject or another subject or something. But another thing that was pressing me, not so much about the Sabbath, but about fasting. And I'm going to try to do this really quickly, because a lot of people, I hear them mentioning, oh, I'm fasting. Well, what are you fasting for? And some of them kind of like put it in because they're, like they follow the word and they kind of like incorporate it. It's like, well, first of all, you're not supposed to let people know you're fasting. If that's private. That's private between you and God. You shouldn't even mention it. Unless it's fasting for a whole different reason. Now, you're fasting because you want to lose weight, or you're fasting that has nothing to do with God, then go ahead. But if it's something that you're trying to do for the Lord, like Esther, when she fasted with her concubines and her friends, and they all fasted what, three days and 3 nights, I think. They did it because they needed a miracle. They needed intervention from God for something to happen. That's why they fasted. But if you're just doing it just to cleanse your body or to lose weight, then that has to me, that has nothing to do with the Lord. That's, no. And like I said, even back in the day, God didn't like it when people used to fast and then people would go, oh, the only reason you're fasting is because, or telling people you're fasting is and you just want people to feel sorry for you. Oh, she's fasting. Oh, he's fasting. Looks so, oh, she's doing such a great thing. Oh, he's doing such a great thing. You already, like God said, you already got your reward. Because that's what you wanted. You wanted people to feel sorry for you, or you're doing such a holy thing. Well, you already got your reward. So don't expect anything else. So again, if you're fasting, I don't care for what reason. If it has anything to do because you're expecting a miracle from up above, don't tell nobody. That's between you and God. Nobody should know what you're doing. Unless you're fasting, like I said, because you're trying to cleanse, you're trying to be healthy, that's a whole different story. But if you're doing it for a purpose, for a godly purpose, no. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for joining me today in Like a Fish in the Sea. So glad you caught me, and we will catch you next week on Faith Night Friday. Bye.